Hello, and welcome to A Fan Reads The Star Wars Vault. In this episode, The Land of the Rising Twin Suns. Of all the places where Star Wars has been embraced, Japan may on the surface seem the hardest one to figure out. The culture of this homogeneous society had always seemed so different from that of the United States, but Japan was changing rapidly in the decades after World War II. A society that had once been distant and then seen as merely a purveyor of cheap goods had rapidly matured. Likewise, the Japanese themselves had become worldlier, more eager to adopt foreign culture, especially that of the United States. Star Wars had it all for the post-war generation of Japanese, who had been immersed in a pop culture of fantasy, giant transforming robots, and outer space even before George Lucas's movie opened there in 1978. It started with such films as the anti-nuclear fable Gojira in 1954 and was cemented by a growing market for anime movies and manga comics based on such Japanese characters as Astro Boy. There were also wind-up or battery-operated robots and fantasy characters, the earliest of which were made from tin cans thrown away by American occupation forces. Star Wars fit right in, with its clear Zen-like undertone with the Force, inspired swordplay but with laser swords, hints of the samurai and feudal culture in the costumes of both Darth Vader and Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi, and even some of the plot devices used by the great Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa, whom Lucas admired. R2-D2 and C-3PO are loosely patterned after a couple of bumbling peasant farmers in Kurosawa's The Hidden Fortress. The Japanese embraced Star Wars merchandise in a big way too, with most items specifically tailored to Japanese tastes or conventions. Unlike the fairly straightforward toys that Kenner was offering elsewhere in the world, the Japanese Star Wars toys all seemed to do something. R2-D2 shot missiles from his chest or flew discs out of his dome. A larger X-Wing fighter could be taken apart and transformed into 5 other vehicles. Even battery-operated lightsabers had gels so they could project 3 colors of light. Vending machines were filled with tiny Star Wars toys in plastic bubbles, including an ingenious metal R2-D2 that accepted small yen coins like the old change makers that used to clip on bus drivers' belts. Throughout the run of the saga, the Japanese have come up with such innovative designs. Silk shirts incorporating ancient Star Wars woodblock type prints, and merchandise, a recent 1/3 scale R2-D2 DVD player with a turning dome, that US collectors invariably moan, why can't they do things like that here? But the most fascinating indication of Star Wars star power in Japan probably was the 1987 to 1991 multimedia advertising campaign for national Panasonic brands that used not only the iconic characters but George Lucas himself. Created by the giant agency Dentsu, the campaign highlighted an important cultural difference. In most of the world, appearing in product ads is seen as tacky or a bit déclassé, but in Japan, it is truly a mark of honor for the individual. For the Dentsu ads, scores of images were used, from a levitating Yoda with earphones to C-3PO with a butterfly net, as well as George Lucas balancing a TIE interceptor on one finger. That's it for now. Thank you for watching A Fan Reads The Star Wars Vault.